Having managed to avoid a giant killing of all giant killings in the FA Cup, West Ham returned to Premier League action with a visit of Watford to London Stadium on Tuesday. West Ham needed extra time to see off Kidderminster Harriers 2-1 on Saturday, while Roy, I'm getting my letters here mixed up, Roy Hodgson's life at Vicarage Road began with a goalless stalemate away to Burnley. Welcome back to the West Ham Network. I'm Anton. I'm joined by Matt, but not just Matt. We've been sitting here keeping an eye on the clock. He's been going on and on and on and on and on. And here he is. He's jumped over here because he can't help it.
Right. I just want to finish off my show now, the West Ham Weekly. It's okay.
We haven't got another 2 hours, Phil. We ain't got that long.
Mate, hour and a half. That's a record. That's a record for me. Hour and a half.
Go and get your beauty sleep. Put your hands.
I'm going to go and eat. I'm going to go and eat. So you enjoy yourselves
tomorrow and buy me some drinks.
Are you coming down? I'm not going to see you. I'm going to stay well away from you. Put my hand in my pocket, you tight Scott. You're tighter than David Moyes. For fuck's sake. Right, I'll leave you to it. I'll see you guys later. All right.
So, Matt, Watford, mate, how you feeling about it?
I want to sit here and say confident, but after the weekend, I'm not entirely happy. Obviously, we've had stuff go on, injuries, whatever. We've seen news, get to that in a minute. And obviously, like you just said, Watford brought Hodgson in, so any Premier League game, you always worry about new manager bounce.
Yep.
You know, they looked a lot more solid. Confident, but
you just don't.
I would have been more confident before the weekend than I am now.
Yeah, and that's the problem, isn't it? It's like right now as a fan, so many emotions as a West Ham fan. You know, 1 minute we're up, 1 minute you're down. Transfer window, just knocking out lower league minnows, and you don't know really where your emotions are at, to be honest. But you know, at the end of the day, consistency is key. David Moyes talks about consistency, and we need to believe in this in what he's doing. So hopefully he is. But anyway, mate, there's no point in me and you sitting here talking about the opposition when we can bring on an opposition fan. And it's been a while, mate. It's actually been a while since we've had an opposition fan on. So it's nice. So let's go on and talk about Watford. Well, everyone, please welcome James from the Watford Way. James, thank you very much for joining us. You well?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Looking forward to the game tomorrow. Of course, massive game in Watford season. Hopefully we can, ruin your evening.
Hopefully you don't make some. I'm spending a lot of time in my journey coming down there, and hopefully we can get a result. Fingers crossed. But hey ho, it's good to see you, mate. James, let everyone know where they can find you on YouTube and the world of the internet and etc.
Yeah, so very simple. You can find us on YouTube at the Watford Way. We do similar stuff to you guys, match previews, match reactions, talking everything about the world of Watford. And we're also on Twitter, Instagram, at Facebook, at the Watford Way. So make sure you check us out on all of them channels.
Brilliant. Excellent. Well, good, man. Well, let's get into the nitty-gritty, mate. Roy Hodgson. I can't help but say his name like that, but Mr. Roy Hodgson is in charge. I mean, I don't know how many managers that's been for you guys over the last couple of years. What is that, James?
I think it's been 16, 17 in the last 10 years, so not too many at all.
That's my word. Things haven't been going so well this season, but you've brought in Roy to steady the ship. Will he steady the ship? You've already seen him perform under one game at Burnley, a goalless draw you had last time out. What did you see the difference in what he's done already in the game against Burnley, or was it the same old kind of Watford?
I think you can definitely see the difference. I think the switch to the 4-4-2 formation definitely gave us a bit more defensive solidity. I think under Xisco Munoz and Claudio Ranieri, we played a 4-3-3 system, which was good. Going forward, it offered a lot going forward. Ismail Assar, Emmanuel Dennis, Joshua King, João Pedro, they all proved to be a real threat, but I think it did leave us a bit, a bit open at the back. And Roy, coming in, how he plays a 4-4-2, very solid, rigid, difficult to break down. It definitely helped against Burnley. Really crucial point as well. I was really happy with that. Of course, I hope it doesn't hinder our attacking output, but I was happy with the first showing, and ultimately the players are still fighting. They're still there, and hopefully we can just continue to pick up more points. Towards the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt, anything to add to that?
I think I said to you before the start, like, you know what you're going to get with Roy. It is literally two bags of floor, normally like two holding midfielders in front of the defence. It's going to be boring football, but maybe that's what Watford need. Maybe it's something, rather than just keep ploughing out these managers that may look exciting but don't have the experience. Look, maybe Hodgson's a stopgap. Maybe in the summer, Watford managers or the Watford owners don't have any issue with sacking managers. Maybe they bring him in to the summer and go, yeah, he kept us up, cheers, off you go, and they try and find a new one. But we've seen this season some of the games, like you said, Watford have looked fantastic going forward. Like, it's clearly not been your problem. It's been keeping clean sheets, just not conceding goals. Like we said before the game, is it 31 games and 2.5 years or something since your last clean sheet in the Premier League? 31 games. I mean, the 2.5 years, obviously, because of the season, the Championship, but 31 games is a long time in the Premier League to keep a clean sheet. And if you're not scoring enough goals, it's going to be hard. So Hodgson should make a difference defensively, but has he got enough time to find that balance? Because like you just mentioned, 4 very attacking players, and how does he fit them all in playing a flat 4-4-2?
Well, I think playing the 4-4-2, I don't think personally he can fit them in, which is why I'd prefer he did play the 4-3-3. But as I said, the 4-3-3, does leave us very susceptible at the back. I think we played the 4-3-3 when we played you in December, and you guys bossed it really. Our midfield was non-existent that day, and Declan Rice was even suspended, so we didn't even have to deal with him. So it's about getting the balance right. I think Roy Hodgson's probably going to do it on a game-by-game basis. If the opposition is slightly weaker, then maybe go more attacking. But obviously, you guys are having a fantastic season, and I think he will respect that. So I think because of the season you're having, the talent you've got, the midfield quality you've got, I think he probably will go with the 4-4-2. But as I said, don't be surprised to maybe see him switch that up mid-game.
I mean, 21 games you've played this season. You've won 4, you've lost 14, scored 23 goals, of which one player has got, I mean, a great player. You've unearthed Nigerian international, was supposed to go to AFCON, but there was a big kind of complication there that probably worked in your favour. Dennis, he didn't travel, but West Ham fans have seen what he's capable of doing. He scored the goal against West Ham earlier on back in December. Actually, before we move on, let's go and take a look and see what happened last time out the two teams played. I mean, going back to that game in particular, I remember it because we went 1-0 down due to a fantastic goal from this man we're looking at on the screen. 8 goals this season. Is it 4 assists on top of that?
5 assists, I think.
5,
as well, yeah.
5 assists as well. How good is this guy?
He is absolutely sublime. He can have his off games. Obviously, he scored the goal in that game, but after that, he was pretty much non-existent. He got sent off against Norwich last time out, which is why he missed the Burnley game just gone. But largely since Ismaila Sarr got injured, he's been absolutely fantastic. He's a real threat. He can play in any position in the front line, really, right wing, left wing, striker, central attacking midfielder even, is superb. £3.5 million. For me, definitely Premier League signing of the season.
Brilliant, excellent. On top of that, another player that you've brought into the club that West Ham were interested in. His stats read well, but I think that's due to the fact that he scored quite a lot of goals in one particular game. That's Josh King. Is he the sort of player that maybe Hodgson can get the best out of?
I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, 3 of his goals came in that game against Everton. He scored a fantastic hat-trick, comeback win for Watford, and that was great. But ever since then, I think he's only scored 1 goal in something like 12, 13 games, which obviously, is a very, very poor record for a team, struggling against relegation. I do think Roy Hodgson can get the best out of him, though. I think if we do continue with this 4-4-2 system, I think Joshua King and Emmanuel Dennis could form, a really, really lethal strike partnership. And we might, see the start of that against you guys on Tuesday, because Emmanuel Dennis was suspended against Burnley. Roy Hodgson hasn't had him available yet. This is the first game Dennis is available, and I do think that Joshua King and Dennis can pose a real threat to the defence.
Can definitely, yeah, absolutely. Another player I want to talk to you about is this man you got from Tottenham in the summer, Sissoko. How important is he to your midfield? Yeah,
really important. Obviously, Troy Deeney left in the summer, and there was that vacant captaincy spot. Musa Sissoko's taken that up, and he's been absolutely superb. He's not really put in a bad performance at all. Box-to-box midfielder, drives forward, sits deep at times as well when needed. So I think for me, Sissoko's been, again, really, really decent signing by Watford. Yes, we do get a lot of signings wrong, but Sissoko for me is absolutely fantastic. Well worth the money we paid for him. And captain the club as well, and really gets what the club's about, and communicates with the support as well. So for me, Sissoko coming up against Rice and Souček in midfield is obviously going to be a key battle.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt, anything to add to that?
I thought he's a really astute piece of business. Like you said, there's a lot of names that I see Watford buy, and I'm like, no. They're gambles, or is it the owners, other clubs, like they feed in from like Udinese or something?
Yeah, Udinese in Italy, yeah.
Do well and make more money, but Premier League, you've seen it with like Norwich. When you come up, you can gamble with a lot of Championship players in your squad, but you need like a solid, experienced backbone. And Sissoko is that really like combative, like box-to-box midfielder, and he's something every Premier League team needs. And all right, Tottenham let him go. Maybe didn't fit what Nuno wanted. Maybe Conte would have got something out of him, I don't know, but it's that was one for me that I looked at and was like, that's a really good buy for someone that's anyone in the bottom half of the table, he would have been a sensible buy, because you know what you're going to get out of him.
But something else I want to kind of draw your attention to as well, though, James, is out of all the kind of relegation teams, Watford have actually scored 12 away goals this season. I mean, so that, what is it? I mean, coming away to the London Stadium, come to West Ham at the London Stadium, but playing away from home, being able to get 12 goals. Obviously, you are shipping a lot of goals, in particular this season. I think is it 40 goals you've conceded to your 23 scored. But what is it about the away day? What seems to be the reason why you're scoring more away than you are at home?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think, it could just be, in terms of pressure on the players. Obviously, the home crowd at Watford this season hasn't been great. A lot of people around me have been very, very angry at the performances, and rightly so. And obviously that, that translates to the players, and, they obviously, might be feeling that pressure. And obviously going away from home against big teams, West Ham, I think the players actually relish them opportunities. And, Watford's away fans are absolutely class. And, I don't think there's a specific reason necessarily. I just think maybe because, we haven't got that home crowd, the pressure is maybe eased on the players ever so slightly. But it's obviously a positive thing that we are scoring goals, as you say. So hopefully, we'll score another couple of goals tomorrow.
So in your mindset then, James, let's get on to the game in itself. West Ham have come off, a rocky start since we've came back from the little winter break that we've all had. You've came out with a draw. You've got a new manager on board. What's Roy going to be saying to the lads? How do you think he's going to be setting up coming to the London Stadium? Do you think he's going to, do you think Watford are going to go for the 3 points, or do you think there's going to be an element of protection, try and nullify the threat? Because West Ham do score goals. West Ham like to score goals. But right now, with some of the problems potentially we've got in our defence, we've started to concede a little bit more as of late. Now, listen, I'm not going to be beating about the bush here. West Ham are not used to being in this position. So as us fans, we normally are talking the opposite way around. So we're unsure of how me and Matt are confused every single week when we're still talking the way that we talk, which is in a positive light. But how do you think Watford will set up against West Ham tomorrow?
It's a really difficult one for me to answer, actually, because obviously Roy has only been here for about a week and a half. So we've seen really one game on what he can offer. He obviously set up in that 4-4-2 system, which, yes, it gave us that defensive solidity. I think what he'll want from the game is to frustrate you. He knows that you guys want to be challenging for them in European places, and rightly so, because you've had a fantastic season. But I do think he will look to frustrate you. If we can get to half-time at 0-0, then I think he might say to the players, now let's go on, risk it a little bit, push forward a bit more and try and take that 3 points. But I think for Watford, if we can come away with a draw, we've then got Brighton on Saturday, which again is a massive game for us, probably slightly easier than West Ham, but yeah, so I think he'll look to frustrate you, get to half-time 0-0, fingers crossed, and then hopefully you can push on and get that 3 points. But I do think it will be quite a low-scoring, cagey game.
It's funny though, because this season in particular, and the new West Ham that myself and Matt are witnessing, and Matt, you'll back this up as well. It seems to be sometimes that West Ham start games quite slow, and it takes for us to go 1-0 down to turn the game over. Now, it happened against you lot the last time, James, and it's happened quite a lot. I think we're probably top of the rankings for turning games over from a losing position. And the West Ham of old, we used to panic when we go 1-0 down, and we still get disappointed. But sometimes when we do the shows we do, we sit here and when we meet up with each other or whatever, and we say, do you know what? That's the rocket that West Ham need every single game. So there is that element of, I get why, sometimes Moyes' obviously system seems to be, let's just see where the other team's at. Let's back off a little bit and see what they're going to be capable of doing. And then it takes for them to score a goal, and then bang, we go for it. And then we're turning over these kind of 1-0 deficits. But I think if Watford do go for it, it's got the potential to be an open game. And therefore, goals could be scored because both teams can concede. And obviously, with a bit of quality like Dennis up front, and we all know Josh King, even though he's not performing recently, he still has got the ability to finish. And with the forward line that West Ham have got, opening up that threat, pushing forward, can open it up. But then also, like you said, it's got the ability to be a stalemate and 0-0, and hopefully it's not, because I want to be able to enjoy it live there. Matt, anything you want to add?
As I said before, I don't. It's for me, like you said, you had the game on Saturday where the Roy's obvious thing was, we're away from home in a relegation 6 point and I don't lose. But it's going to be interesting to see how you guys take what way he makes you an attacking team, because I know from like Palace before, the Palace fans all used to moan that it was very defensive, like counterintuitive football at times, and sort of 8 men behind the ball. And I don't know if maybe these games, like maybe tomorrow, that Watford fans will be like, yeah, fair enough, but at some point you're gonna have to go for it. And I don't know what Roy's how he's gonna get the best out of your team and the best out of the players you've got, when he's a very negative manager compared to what I would actually look at your team. I thought when we played the last time, like, it was even though we come out 4-1 winners, there was just very decisive moments in the game where that game could have swayed like either way. Like it could have easily finished 3-3, because going forward, you guys have got a really good attacking outlet. And I just wonder how Roy's going to get the best out of you when he's such a negative defensive manager.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm concerned about. I mean, yes, obviously, clean sheets are great, and that's something to build on. But Ismail Assar, Joshua King, João Pedro, Cucho Hernandez, Emmanuel Dennis, that's 5 players there who possess such good quality in attack. And just to kind of grind out clean sheets and pick up points here and there is not really what I want to be watching. And you mentioned we got to go for it at some point, so hopefully we can go for it this game, because there's only so many points left to play for. So I don't really want to.
45 points left.
Yeah, this is a really good question, no, and if you can do it briefly, because I know we obviously got to live our lives, etc. But what are all the manager sackings at Watford all about? That can't be good. I know we quickly addressed it at the start, but if you don't mind kind of giving us a quick overview as a fan looking in, surely it can't be good having so many changes.
Yeah, I mean, as fans, I can assure you, we do not like the model that the owners operate under. I think in Italy, it's a lot more commonplace. We've mentioned that they own Udinese in Italy, and Italian clubs, stereotypically do turn over a high volume of managers. The owners are Italian, so it kind of makes sense in that aspect. But I think in England, and fans in England especially, they want stability. They want, they tend to want a young, progressive manager who plays good, possession-based attacking football. And at Watford, we just never really have a philosophy. If you ask me now, James, what is Watford's playing philosophy? I've got no idea what to say. So I think Watford fans, Roy Hodgson is obviously a very, very short-term solution to a long-term problem. Hopefully he can keep us up, and in the summer, ideally, I think there'll be a lot of angry supporters if we don't go out and get a manager who will be back in the transfer market with players that he wants, because that's another issue at Watford. The recruitment's done by the board; it's not done by the manager. I think at West Ham, David Moyes has a lot of control over recruitment, whereas at Watford, the managers don't have much input at all. So I think the owners are good; they've stabilised the club financially, but the model to push further up that table just doesn't seem to work.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, James, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Before you go, I've got some stats. Obviously anyone can pull stats from anywhere in the world, but among the 55 teams West Ham have faced more than 20 times in their league history since 1919. Their best win ratio is against Watford, winning 27 of 43 matches against Watford, 63%. West Ham have lost the last 2 league games, last losing 3 in a row in June 2020. Watford have lost 73% of their Premier League away games in London, 29 from 40, the highest loss ratio in the capital. Just some stats, both not really in favour of both teams. It's just to read out some of those things. Tomorrow night, London Stadium, 7:45 kickoff. Watford travel to the London Stadium under new manager Roy Hodgson. What do you think your predictions will be, James?
Well, on my channel, I usually give 2 predictions. I give an optimistic one where in my heart, I'd obviously want that to happen. And then I give a prediction where actually, realistically, that's probably what's going to happen. So in my heart, I'm going for, very, very comfortable 4-0 Watford win. But
love it.
But realistically, I could probably see it ending maybe in a 1-1 draw. We've only kept 1 clean sheet this season. I'd expect with the talent you've got, you'll at least score a goal. So yeah, for me, realistically, I'll probably go for 1-1 draw.
Excellent. Who's the player we should fear the most from Watford?
Well, I think Emmanuel Dennis is coming back from suspension. You mentioned his goal contributions earlier. It'll be his first game under Roy Hodgson. Hopefully, he should start up top next to Joshua King as well. So I think for me, of course, it's Emmanuel Dennis.
And who's the one player you fear the most from West Ham?
Declan Rice. Very easy answer for me. I know maybe he's not the prettiest of players. He's a central midfielder, tackles. But I think he's absolutely fantastic. So for me, it's definitely Declan Rice.
Yeah, he's starting to be a bit more fancy though. He's starting to progress as a midfielder and push forward. And
Kidderminster, really good.
Yeah. But he's been doing that a lot this season. Actually, most of his goals come from a position of that power. He just drives forward, takes on players, skips by, and Matt, he skips by them fairly easy, mate. Like it's not, it's because
he's deceptively quicker than you think he is.
Yeah,
like he's quite tall and somewhat gangly. You don't think he covers the ground, but he has these he doesn't move fast. He has these very big strides that just sort of eat up the ground in front of him.
Yeah,
I think players sometimes underestimate how quick, because he's a holding midfielder. He's not quick.
Yeah,
and like I said, we've seen it so many times this season. He just takes the ball and goes.
Well, I've got one last question. I think this is relevant. I need to bring this up. It's a great question from Happy Amaret. What do you think of Big Dawson, Craig Dawson?
What do I think? I'm very, very happy for him. I'm glad he's gone on to have a great career at West Ham. he said to me a couple of years ago that Craig Dawson would be a regular starter in the Europa League, potentially coming up against Barcelona. I'd say you're absolutely mental, but look, I'm delighted.
I think we agree with you.
I'm delighted for him. It didn't work out at Watford, but he's obviously done well at West Ham. So I'm very happy for him. Very happy.
Just to give you a little bit of an insight, James. I mean, I think most West Ham fans seen Dawson as a very underwhelming signing. Absolutely. Yeah. However, what Dawson signing taught West Ham was that with the right manager who knows what he's looking for, you can mold any player into a system, into a team system, and that's exactly what Moyes has done. And Dawson, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I've became a fan because he's been pivotal as to part of the reasons why West Ham have progressed, which I still can't believe I'm saying that. He's been there or thereabouts. His performances have been second to none most of the time. There's been a few errors here, there, and everywhere, but who doesn't do that most of the time? And he's still going to be pretty much borderline. I mean, he's the most consistent non-injured centre-half we've had over the last 2 or 3 years. It's ridiculous, and he's still there, and he's doing his job, and so fair play to him, fair play to him. Listen, James, mate, absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anyone wants to go and check out any of the content, I think you've done a West Ham preview, go and check out the Watford Way on YouTube. We'll put a link in the description and all that sort of stuff, and I'd love to have you back on for whenever we play each other moving forward.
Hopefully next season.
Thank you, mate. Really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, hopefully next season. Touch wood. All right, mate. James, take it easy. Thanks, mate. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Lovely, wasn't it? Lovely guy. Great insight into the away team. It's great, again, to have the away fan on. Matt, what do you think?
You pulled it out of the bag again, mate.
Yeah.
You just find these people out of, I don't know, the Twitter sphere or something.
But the point I'm trying to make is we've not done it for a little while. We were doing it week in and week out, but it's good to get that insight, real insight knowledge into the opposition fan, because there's no point in us sitting here talking about it. And we do it sometimes, but it really does give us that insight into them, doesn't it?
It does, and like you said, when you talk about stuff like ownership and stuff like management, like we wouldn't have a clue. Like from the outside looking in, everyone says, "Oh, none of us like it." Watford obviously must like it because they keep doing it, but like, no, the Watford fans don't like it either. So no, it gives you insight you just wouldn't, like you said, you just wouldn't know.
Well, good point here from Robert. Good point here from Robert Singleton. Dawson will score against his old team if we put the ball in the box from corners. Do you know what? I wouldn't even be surprised if Dawson more than ever.
But he is actually set pieces. He is a threat.
Yeah, yes,
because he will just. I don't mean that just because of his height. I mean, if you actually watch him attack a ball, you'll see players they run in, they jump up and off the ball, whereas he will literally fully commit. If he thinks he's got any chance of getting in on that ball, he will fully commit absolutely everything, even if he ends up clattered on the floor with like a smack on the head, and he just gets up, rubs it off, and jogs back. Like he doesn't half-hearted go and attempt. I think that is why he does score so many goals. Probably because sometimes the player marking him thinks, you know what, I really don't fancy that. You'll see him like it's almost like when Andy Carroll was at his best for West Ham when he was fit. And, you'd see like he'd line up on the edge of the penalty spot or the edge of the penalty box for a corner, and you'd see him steam in. And if no one challenged him, it was like 9 out of 10 times in the back of the net. Dawson has that same sort of. It's old school mentality, isn't it? Like I'm just going to get hurt, but if we score a goal, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, listen, let's move on. Let's talk about our beloved West Ham. And go straight over and have a little look at some of the stuff that David Moyes said in his press conference. Now, there are a few things that David Moyes has gone on to say. So let me put this up here for you. Mikel's back. We had an injury to Lanzini and an injury to Arthur Masuaku. They're both doing okay, but Arthur's going to see a specialist about his knee. Manu's needing a bit of time with an Achilles injury. Mickey's return has done a couple of days, so we're hoping for him to be available. I take that, Matt. I take that as the following. Masuaku's out. Lanzini's 50-50, and Mickey's available for selection. What do you say?
First of all, the Masuaku one's the worry for me, because this is like I think actually is he out of contract at the end of the season?
Yeah,
because is it just the back end of last season he had that knee injury, Masuaku, and he just come back, so he's only really played like on and off for 6 months. He's got another knock on his knee again. Going to see a specialist isn't good news for him. The way I'd read that, I'd probably say Lanzini's probably out. Sore Achilles, you wouldn't want to risk it.
No.
Antonio, I'd be surprised if he started. I don't know.
We'll come on. We'll come on to that.
Moyes has done his typical, hasn't he? Moyes has done his typical, like, ambiguous, non-committal statement where he leaves everything open to interpretation.
Absolutely. And today of all days, during the press conference, one man. Now, we know that some of the stuff is embargoed. We know some of the information sometimes is embargoed. So we don't know if anything was embargoed today, if anyone asked the question on Kurt Zouma. However, I took a statement that he made after the Kidderminster game, which is, I think he's okay. I was a bit worried, obviously. The plan was not to play him as long as we've made changes to try and get ourselves in the cup and stay in the cup. So unfortunately, I was not able to bring him off earlier. However, we have heard today that he's refused a scan. Now, I did mention earlier on in the show I did today, and I don't know if you listened to it, Matt. If you type in Zouma in Google, you would read about 6 articles, and every single article was different on Zouma. But we are led to believe between one article saying he's out, one article saying that he's back, one article saying he's going for a scan, one article saying he's refusing a scan. Honestly, it's ridiculous. It's crazy, the stuff that's out there. However, one little eagle-eyed West Ham fan today found an image from the training park, and in that image, in the background,
it looks like he's blurred out in the background, isn't he?
He's blurred out in the background. It's blatantly
too
Zouma.
Big. Yeah, because he's too big to be Diop.
Like
the bulkiness of the player.
His smile and his hair. It's absolutely by no means it's Zouma. So Zouma has trained today, and I think the club tried to maybe blur him out, but they didn't do it.
Keep it under the radar.
Yeah, try and keep
you know what? They were better off cropping him out.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember what it was. There was a player in the foreground, wasn't there? Was it Declan Rice or I can't remember who it was. Top of my head. There was a player in the foreground where they'd obviously done that effect, hadn't they? Where like the person at the front was like really like brightened up for HD effect, like in your face, and the rest of the background was like filtered out. And you think, well, why didn't you just? Because it's like he's here, and then like Zouma was like over here in the corner. He's like, why don't you just crop like there? And just not have him in there at all if you're that bothered about it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure someone's going to get telling off from Moyes today from the media team. Like, who took that picture? Who put it up?
Let me talk about the fringe players and the squad players, and then I'll move on from the press conference. He says here, all of the things the fringe players have done unbelievably. It was a difficult weekend for many teams in the FA Cup, but ultimately those fringe players have been fantastic for me this season. He says all those players have been involved in European games and done a great job for us in the group stages. They've all contributed. We didn't play so well in the cup game, but there were a lot of performances which didn't match the way you thought the games would go. We want them to stay fit, strong, and be ready when their opportunity comes. What do you take from that on the basis of the Kidderminster game?
That sounds like a filler, like Gaffer's giving you a boost, doesn't it? It's that's one of them ones where like he knows you've played crap, but he's like, I don't need to tell you that, so I'm just going to tell you you've done all right in difficult circumstances. Like, and that's just trying to make. He said we're going to need them this season, right? We are going to need them, so there's no point him going out there publicly drumming these guys into the ground, ruining their confidence, being like, you were awful, you should play. Don't play. I don't want to see you in a shirt again. There's no point in doing that because some of them guys are going to be needed. So it's a very professional answer to say, difficult circumstances. I mean, Ragnarok for Man United used the same excuse today because everyone was like, oh, well, you got knocked out by Middlesbrough. And he turned around and went, yeah, but look, Chelsea and West Ham both struggled in the cup as well. Yeah, it's a classic cop-out football manager answer where you don't want to get your players down.
Yeah, no, you're right, mate. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. Right, I think it's time for us to move on to the section where we start to build our starting 11. So if you are watching, start putting your starting 11 in the chat and let us know your thoughts, and we'll go through building up our starting 11 for the game tomorrow. Okay, so Matt, it is time for us to get sharing our starting 11. I think this is going to be an interesting one tonight because I can see going back to the Kidderminster game, you were right and you were wrong. You were right.
Yeah, because I was like, I said I thought he'd start Dawson and Dawson and Zuma.
Yeah.
Or Zuma and Alessi, and it was Zuma and Diop.
Yeah.
So I think between us we got the team because I think you said Diop and Dawson, and I said Zuma and Diop. No, I said Zuma and Dawson, and you said Dawson and Diop. So
yeah. Right. Right. Let me get this back up and running here. Right. There you go. There's the starting 11. Right. Let's go on to the goalkeeper. Listen, Areola's worst game in a West Ham shirt for us against Kidderminster.
He didn't even have a bad. The problem is he didn't have a bad game. So
see, I don't know, mate. I like Areola. I like him a lot. But I was heavily concerned at a few things that I noticed. Obviously, I felt like he was at fault for the first goal. There was a couple of times he came out and he flapped it. But what I really did notice was a lot of people talk about Fabianski commanding the box. Areola did not command that box whatsoever. In actual fact, Areola was really quiet. And you couldn't even see his mouth opened. Now, I know people might say to me, oh, well, Anton, they don't focus on the guy when he's making saves here, there, everywhere, etc. But there was one particular replay that they showed, and I think it was for when Areola came out and took out Zuma. And when they showed the replay of that, he didn't open his mouth whatsoever, mate. He just came out and took the ball without any commanding. And that was a concern to me. Now, I'm not trying to sit here and say I'm going to judge Areola on that thing, because I think he's a class keeper. There's a reason why he's a PSG player. There's a reason why we all seen what he was capable of doing when he was at Fulham. I do see the little calamities that are available into him, and I wonder if that's why Moyes has been sticking by Fabianski this season. What do you think, Areola or Fabianski for the Watford game?
Well, first of all, I mean, it'll be Fabianski. Let's not debate that.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the game, I mean, the goal was equally his and Diop's. But then again, like you said about the non-communication, and I feel like that might, yeah.
No,
I don't. You're talking about communication.
If
he communicates and said he's coming,
then Diop doesn't hit the ball. But in actual fact,
but
in actual fact, though, when he does come out,
also the header was crap.
Yeah, but it takes a deflection. Yeah, but listen, it takes a deflection. He does his job. He doesn't clear it properly. It takes a deflection off the player, and it goes into the path of the Kidderminster player. However, the Kidderminster player tapped the ball into the back of the net where Areola should have been.
Yeah, no, this is what I said. It's like 75% Areola's fault, 25% Diop's. Because if he calls for it, then I think Diop doesn't head it.
Yeah.
But if Diop heads it, like I'm not sure if that was Dawson, that ball would have left the penalty area. You can't be heading downwards in a packed penalty box.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think, you know what, sometimes a mistake plays in your mind, and it looked like that. Like he looked nervous. We all know about the pitch. The pitch was horrible, dodgy bounces. You had to be really iffy with your foot in. The wind, we saw that in the first half when they were attacking, like how much the wind was affecting the ball. He clearly, like, that mistake rattled him, but I don't think it made a difference. Personally, like I you know what? No, I'll take it back. I think for now, that was like Moyes' get out.
Yeah,
I think for all the people like myself that said, "Oh, you should be playing Areola," Moyes can go, "Well, look,
there you go.
Look, I gave him his chance, and this is what happened."
Yeah, I don't think he does work like that. However, I get your sentiment on it. Right, let's move on to our defence, mate. I don't think I think it's a no-brainer, mate. I think Zuma will be fit and he'll play tomorrow. And is he going to go in alongside big Craigie Dawson?
Yeah, I think it'll be the other. I think Zuma play left, Dawson will play right.
Sorry, yeah, I need to put in there.
Yeah.
Yep. Is everyone in agreement in the chat?
Zuma's declared himself fit, so we've seen the poorly attempted blurred picture of him training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, left back. Are we going with Aaron Creswell? It's good to see him back, and he made a big difference when he came on against Kidderminster.
Got a decent little run out, like 50 minutes. Like about 20 minutes to go, didn't he? So, and look, I've said before, and I said the same thing again. Like Ben Johnson was there for most of the game, and Ben Johnson's solid defensively, but he doesn't have a left foot.
Yeah.
it was all, you know what, and I've said this before, it's almost worth it. If you're going to play Johnson on that side, especially since Yarmolenko started, you might as well put Yarmolenko on the left wing rather than the right hand side, because at least then you've got a fullback that can either cut inside and put it on his right foot, or he can just roll it back to Yarmolenko to swing on his left foot. Like, the guy doesn't run enough as it is, so if you're going to use him, stick him on a side where you can at least put a swing him in on his left foot. Like, you know, he's supposed to have a good left foot, Yarmolenko. Ben Johnson didn't do anything wrong. It's just he had to come off because we just started dominating the game, and his delivery isn't as good, especially on that left hand side. His delivery is not as good as Creswell's.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Who steps into the right back position here? Then does Soufal step back in there?
I'd assume so.
Yeah.
I can't see it being Frederick. I don't think he had a very good game, to be honest.
Okay, no worries at all. Now, listen, let's bring out the midfielders that could be in contention for playing in the central pairing. I'm only bringing them out just for the sake of doing it, and it's fair game, for doing it. But Alex Kroll, mate, let's talk about him very briefly. What do you think of him against Kidderminster?
You know what? I said in the Leeds game was a game to try him out. Kidderminster was not a game. I think I got it wrong because I said playing, but I didn't anticipate the pitch being the way it was. Yeah. I know that sounds stupid, but bearing in mind a lot of Eastern Europe play on AstroTurf, or like it's AstroTurf now, is it? It's like a 4G pitch.
Yeah,
they're artificial pitches, so they won't be. They are like carpets. You know, they're not real grass like the Premier League, but they are artificial pitches.
Yeah,
and you could see evidently that every time the ball was come to him, he's having to look down at his feet, like a kid when they first learn to play. You know, the first thing is look at the ball, control the ball, and then look up. And then obviously then the coaches then go, no, don't look at the ball, get your head up, like learn to control it without looking, just your body action will do it. And you don't get, like, even you can see, like you say in the Premier League, you don't get time for that second touch, or you don't get time for that third touch. You could see it. It took 70 minutes for the Kidderminster players to get to the point where you could take that second touch, because non-league is not have the stamina to run like that for 90 minutes. And lo and behold, 70th, 75th minute, we started getting a hold of the game because they couldn't do the run anymore. He will hopefully get another chance. I mean, look, Southampton away in the cup, so he should get another go and it'll be a lot easier. But
should, mate. But after 45 minutes, he was pulled off. I'm not so sure that will happen. Anyway, let's move into there. Let's take out Noble because we know it's not going to be him. Rice and Souček.
Oh, there's no debate, is there?
No debate at all. Is there?
No
debate. Rice and potato salad. Right. Lanzini.
This is where it does get interesting. This is where it does get interesting.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out all our forward options that realistically have a shout at starting the game. And this gives us a really good insight into looking at what our forward line can be capable of doing here. So you've got 6 players to take up 4 more positions.
Let's start, because it affects the rest of it, centre forward. Okay,
so I'll quickly give you my opinion on this. I'm pushing these players around. I'll push them out actually of the pitch. Yeah, it just makes them a little bit easier to see. Fornals, Antonio.
Because it's one of them two, isn't it? The two you've got there.
Right. So the only options you've got really here are these two. Now, if there was ever a time that he was going to rest Antonio, and I always try and pick up on things that's said in the press conference, like we always have done. And he is quite negative. Moyes is quite negative on the approach of Antonio about being in Jamaica and not being back in time and stuff like that. It's not negative on Antonio and not negative on that. It's just negative on the circumstances.
Timing.
Yeah, the timing, etc. I think he will play Antonio, but there's a little inclination that he might not, and he might be on the bench. But he is a little bit of he's a habit of creature, mate. He's a creature of habit.
Was it? I'm trying to think what game it was before. Was it Leeds or was it Brentford? There was a game. I think we ended up losing the game. It might be Southampton. Was it Southampton? We left him on the bench.
Right, sorry, just very briefly here. I want to quickly address this. It's not confirmed, Garino, that he is out. Howard Ludders. It's not confirmed that he's out.
Moyes has done one of his ambiguous.
Absolutely. So we have been led to believe he's 50-50 for the game, and it'll face a late fitness test for the game tomorrow. So he's not definitely out now. It's just down to whether or not Moyes would actually play him or not. We don't know about that. Sorry, I just want to quickly address that.
So I think it was a Southampton game, wasn't it? We lost 3-2. I think we were 1-0 down at half time. Antonio come on at half time and made an instant impact.
Yeah.
And I do wonder if he may
try that again.
Lean the same way.
Are we trying to
leave him on the bench?
Are we trying to be too clever here, mate, and not playing him, thinking that's what Moyes is going to do? But in actual fact, we know.
I mean, to be fair, look, he hasn't played that. It is overcomplicating it because look, Dawson or Zuma started. Dawson played 75 minutes. Creswell played 50 minutes. Rice played 75 minutes. Souček played 50 minutes. Bowen played 120 minutes. And we're sitting there debating whether Bowen or Antonio starts. When Bowen played 120 minutes on Saturday and Antonio hasn't played since Wednesday.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I got myself out of it. Antonio starts. Antonio starts up front.
Wow.
Yeah. I can't sit there and say, we can't. This is the thing as well. Look, he arrived back Friday morning, right? So he's had Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Moyes said he's trained a couple of times. But we can't sit there and say, Antonio only arrived back Friday, so he can't play. But then Bowen played 120 minutes up front Saturday, and so he'll start in front of him.
Yep. I think I'm in agreement with you. I mean, and it might not be. I'm not. This is us trying to think in Moyes' head. So I'm going to agree with you, mate. I'm going to put him up top as well, and we're going to put Bowen out on the right. There's no point in us trying to even remotely sit and debate that. Now, this leaves two more positions. Now, I do agree. I don't think he will risk Lanzini if there is a potential risk to Lanzini.
He won't.
I do think there's only three players. I think there's only three players in contention for this, though, if he is fit. It's between Benny, Fornals, and Lanzini. I don't know if you agree.
I mean, I've got two of them in the last two positions, so yeah.
Right. Okay. So we're putting Lanzini on the sideline, and we're playing Benny here, and
whichever way round you want to play.
Yeah.
Whichever way round you want.
Yeah.
Because they swap in the game anyway, don't they?
Yeah. I mean,
I think it will be that.
That. I mean, and either way, if it's not that, and Lanzini is to make it, I could actually see this.
Yeah, I could see that
being an option as well.
Because then, if Lanzini is sort of carrying a knock, he's only going to get an hour out of him.
Yeah.
Or 45 minutes out of him, then Rama can come in for him.
Yep. Harsh on the likes of it. Oh God, what have I done there?
Oh, he's moved the whole screen. What's he
done?
It's
fine. It's fine. Harsh on the likes of Yarmolenko?
No. Just no.
I'm joking. Yeah. No,
I don't know. I saw Luke and her old mate Dan were having a debate on Twitter about Yarmolenko at the weekend, and he was like, Yarmolenko was running, he was trying. I was like, he's never run in his life. I don't understand. I made a comment as well, and if you saw it, if you go back, you can still see it now. If you go back on Twitter and you watch the first goal, obviously Rice plays the 1-2 with Fornals, right? And Fornals threads that ball through, Rice cuts aside and scores. Fornals goes absolutely mental. Fornals is jumping up and himself, he's in the he's standing in the crowd watching it, right? Yarmolenko literally just looks at the ball and then just slowly turns around and walks away. I don't know if it was disappointment or relief or anger. You couldn't see his face because his back was to the camera, but he didn't run over, he didn't celebrate, he didn't show any emotion. It was almost because you couldn't see his face, it looked like he was annoyed that we scored. For fuck's sake, I've got to play another 30 minutes now. But then I did see a quote today from one of the Kidderminster players that said that Yarmolenko come over after the game and said, "Oh, don't worry, you got nothing to worry about. You guys were amazing, brilliant." So he's very professional. So maybe as fans we get one opinion of him because of what we see him play, but then maybe as a personality, maybe he's a good personality, and maybe that's why Moyes likes him. But no, I do not want to see him. I would rather see Ogo for legs.
Yeah. You never know. You never know. Again, I've been saying this about our younger players, that if West Ham can somehow be able to get in at half-time reasonably comfortable, then you might see the likes of the younger players like Okoflex, etc. But that does depend on our circumstances. Let's take a look at the two teams that we have potentially chosen here. If Lanzini is fit, we think he would play, and Benny wouldn't start, and Fornals would play. And you could have, obviously, that's one option. Or the other team would be that I've made a mistake there, but excuse, Lanzini shouldn't be in there. That would be Fornals and Benrahma potentially swapped.
The only other team I've got is Pablo, Benrahma, Vlasic as a 3.
Right.
That's got Bowen up front. That's if he dropped. If he dropped Antonio, not dropped him, benched him.
Yeah.
Easing him back in. I think maybe you'd see Vlasic on the right hand side.
Yeah.
And then Bowen move up front.
Yeah. Yep. It's an option, mate. It is an option. But hey ho, it's the amount of times we sit here and still to this day we've never got one team right, I don't think.
Mate, we've given 3 teams today, so our luck's got to be in. Like, come on. One of them 3 teams.
Absolutely.
We'll come in tomorrow and it'll be like frigging Ben Johnson's a right back. It'll be like, oh, didn't consider that. Didn't put him in there.
Listen, if you are watching, give us your predictions for tomorrow's game. What are your predictions for the game at London Stadium, West Ham Watford? So put your predictions in the chat. We'll go through them as well. Loads of good comments. Great people engaging in the chat. Gordon saying, is he the only one who likes Yarmolenko? Danny Morris says, get Yarmolenko. Yarmolenko reminds me of Lee Chapman. Bloody awful. English Hardy, Antonio doesn't need to play, to be honest. Benny in front of Rice and Souček is a diamond false 9 of Bowen, Vlasic, Fornals for me. If Lanzini is fit, he is on. I do agree. If Lanzini is injured, my seat may be free for a few weeks. That is our best team, absolutely. So, Matt, in relation to the game tomorrow, mate, give me your predictions.
You know what? It's hard. Had this been the old manager, I would have been like 4-3, 4-2. I'm going to go 3-1. If Hodgson needs to try and turn Emmanuel Dennis into his new Wilfried Zaha.
Yeah.
If he can get that sort of fire out of Dennis and maybe rein in the yellow cards, keep him on the pitch longer, he may do something out of him. Look, if you go back, we've always struggled against Hodgson teams. Let's be real right now. I know James on earlier and he said 1-1, and that is honestly a realistic. That's not out of the realms of possibility. Like, we've always struggled against Hodgson teams, especially and even not against necessarily Hodgson, but since Moyes has come in, the one thing we have always struggled against is teams that sit back. We're learning as we go. We don't like having the ball. You know, some of our best performances this season have been when we haven't had the ball. Like, the other teams have possession. We've had like 35, 40%, but we've scored the goals because we hit on the counter attack.
Yeah.
You're not going to get much space on the counter attack against the team that plays 2 deep banks of 4. It could be a frustrating game. I'm hoping. I'm going to go for 3-1, but it could be a frustrating game.
I'm going to agree with you on that. Actually, I'm going to go 3-1 West Ham. It could be a frustrating game, but I'm going to go 3-1 West Ham. And let's hope we can get 3 points and keep ourselves in contention with that top 4 position. Howard Ailes is saying strong team 4-0. West Ham, Dawson 2, Fornals, Okoflex on his debut. Danny Morris saying 2-1 Watford. Come on, Danny boy. He's only joking. 2-0 West Ham. Michael Morgan is saying 2-1 to West Ham. Sorry, but 1-0 from me, from Pat Holland. Father Snowman says 2-1 Watford win. Come on, Father Snowman. Are you doing a full cheesy? Where is Fo? I hope Fo's okay. If you're watching Fo and you're not commenting, I hope you're well. Amit is saying 3-1 West Ham. Vinay saying 3-0 West Ham. Martin Noble becomes a new Watford manager with Masuaku as assistant. Got to be cannon 4-0 West Ham. Fornals hat trick. Jay Hammer 3-1 West Ham. Antonio Bowen Dawson, of course. Alan Tuckerton 1 each. Happy Amaret's going 2-0. Apache saying 3-0 hat trick from Antonio. 1-0 from Trini Hammer. Got to play Vlasic's best performance. Moyes loves shifting players around like Fornals and Benny. 3-1 West Ham. London is Claret and Blue. Lee, what are we, mate? What are we? Anil was saying 2-1, leaving it late for the winner, but who? Black Country Hammer 2-1 West Ham. Happy Amaret, Big Dawson goal in Fornals 2-0. Smudgy Smudger saying I reckon we should win 3-1. Suchek is due a goal. 1-0 from Kieran, was you right? Robert Singleton 3-1. Bowen, Dawson, Suchek, and Dennis for them. Adam Cook saying 3-0. Peach is in the house 4-1 and done. Just like that, mate. 0 to us. I meant 5-1 from Mexican Brian. Ezra Savage watching for the first time in years tomorrow. We'll always win when I watch. So 4-1. Wait, hopefully you're a good luck charm, mate. Hopefully you are. Desmond from Gareth. Matt, did you win the shirt? Did you? What shirt did you win? Did you win another shirt?
No, I didn't win a shirt. No, I didn't enter the competition.
Fool!
The last
Fool! Hold on a minute. Fool, you back, mate? Fool! Yes! Everyone, please give us a round of applause for Fool. Fool's a long-time subscriber, but it's been missing for a couple of months. And I really hope you are well, Fool. Please, mate, please say you are well. And please stay in touch. And if you're going to the game tomorrow, I'm coming down, so I'd love to meet up again, mate, as well. And if anyone is around and wants to catch up with myself, Matt, Stell, you name it, we'll be at the game tomorrow. So please let us know if you are kicking about, and we'll hopefully meet up. But Fool, mate, you've made my day. Look, big smile, big cheeky smile there. And I do it for all the subscribers as well, so please don't take that in a bad way. Jason, 2-1 West Ham. I've seen someone else say 3-1. Look at that. Everyone's buzzing about Fool being in the house. Cancel the game, Fool's back. We've already won. Nice to have you back, Fool. Yes, cheesy. Fool, you're a very popular man. Look at this, Fool. Look at the love. Look at the love, Fool. Look at the love. Matt, player you fear the most for Watford tomorrow?
Dennis. Like, if Dennis doesn't score, they don't win. Like, he at the moment, you know what? He's their Bowen.
Yeah.
He's their all action guy at the moment, and if he doesn't turn up, they struggle.
Yeah.
So
yep.
Can't look past
absolutely. Him. Who's the man they should fear the most from us?
I'm actually going to say Dawson.
Quick Dawson, big up Dawson.
Because of what it is. You know what? It has to be, because whenever we have it, whenever we sell a player and they come back to play us, they always score, like they always do. So I'm going to say for once we're going to get that Rob. We're going to get the old player coming back. So Dawson's open to scoring.
Where's Peachy when you need him? Big up Dawson, my G, my D-O-double-G. Love it. There you go, Peachy boy. That one was for you, mate. That one was for you. Dennis is a menace, but hopefully Dawson can sort him out, mate. Can sort him out. Right. That's us, mate. That is us. Tomorrow, we've got a show scheduled. We'll be at the game. We'll try and do some live content from the supporters club or wherever we're going to meet up before the game. There'll be no commentary for the game tomorrow, but please tune in anyway. We'll give you some content. We'll give you some content for after the game as well, where we'll be doing the review live from wherever we can get in. And don't worry, Happy, we won't be throwing you under the bus and putting you on the screen again, because we know you don't want to do that, so don't worry about that. Anyway, if you are new around here,
call that for tomorrow when he tries to chuck you under the bus again.
If you are new around here, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the join option for the membership if you're interested in becoming a member. Hit the thumbs up as well. It does help us out. Leave a comment once the show is finished. And yeah, there is potential lunchtime show tomorrow from DJ Russie B, so check in with that. Matt, any last words?
Easy win.
Let's hope we
Famous last words.
Let's hope we are. Listen, thank you everyone for joining us. Fool, you've left me speechless, mate. It's really good to see you. Hope you're well. And hopefully you'll be around the game tomorrow and we can get a good catch up as well. Like, subscribe, comment, all that malarkey, and we'll see you tomorrow. Come on, you irons. Take it easy. And I'll try and get a video in time to do it. I've left it late. Oh, it's a nightmare. Take it easy.